Hello, everyone. Welcome to Broadway.com's Live at 5. It's February 6th. I'm Beth Stevens.
I'm Paul Wontorek.
We're here with Ryan Lee Gilbert.
Hello, everybody.
And...
Hey, Beth, who's our guest today?
Oh, a very cozy gentleman is here. Kevin del Aguila
Yeah.
from Frozen, the musical on the Broadway.
Yeah,
I'm so excited
but
to talk to him.
we were reminiscing about Altar Boys.
He's a multi-talented dude.
He's
So
one of
we're
the
gonna
Altar
talk
Boys
to him.
writers, and I'm obsessed with Altar Boys. But he's also fantastic in Frozen. I want to go to that spa.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're going to
yes.
talk spa,
Yeah.
don't you worry. But first, our top 5.
We start off with a bit of sad news, but we pay tribute to this icon of the screen and stage.
You know, Beth, if I make it to 103, it's only celebrating.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas had a fantastic, fantastic life and a true Hollywood legend. He died on February 5th. Michael Douglas, who I'm sure you heard of, his son, made the announcement. And, you know, a lot of people forget that Kirk Douglas really got his start on Broadway. He's
He
one of
sure
those
did.
classic Hollywood actors who got his start on Broadway in the plays. Spring Again, there's a lot of plays you've never heard of. Oh,
I just know one.
You've heard of the Three Sisters.
Oh, I was going to say.
I know you know that one.
No, I was going to say
But he
Cuckoo's
did
Nest.
Spring Again, Trio, Alice in Arms, The World is 90. He made it to 103.
Yeah.
And this one, Woman Bites Dog. Where's
Right.
the revival? Where's roundabout revival of Woman Bites Dog?
But
He returned to
then-
the stage.
That's
this
what
is
I
the
know.
one you know.
Yeah. That's what I know.
2 decades later, playing Randall P. McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
The Jack Nicholson role from the
Yes,
movie, you know.
in 1963. And, of course, Oscar-nominated performances in Champion, The Bad and the Beautiful, and Lust for Life. And Emmy-nominated turns in Amos, Tales from the Crypt. That's fun.
Right.
Touched by an Angel.
Tales from the Crypt Emmy nom.
Touched
wow.
by an Angel. And,
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
and AFI
Fascinating.
Life Achievement. He's the Hollywood legend, and he's also one of Broadway's own. So, R.I.P. to the great Kirk Douglas.
And this young, talented performer would rather be no one else.
Right. So what we're talking about is Mean Girls. I'm sorry, was that Mean?
I'd rather
Was that
be
Mean?
me,
I'd
the
rather
song
be me.
that...
He's so,
The
Ryan's so big on
anthems.
Mean Girls quotes.
He's so
And
good
half
at
the
it.
times I'm like,
What?
oh, right, I'm too slow.
I got that one.
Okay.
The role of Janice is currently played by Barrett Wilbert-Weed, who originated the role on Broadway, and she's leaving on March 8th, and her standby is graduating to her role, and her name is Olivia Kaufman, so she will join the cast full time as Janice. Do you know her last name? Yeah,
Janice,
Mean
something
Girls.
Quiz. Don't
Keesian.
quiz him. That's mean. I do
That's
that to you all the
You
time.
do it to me all the time. Anyway, Olivia has appeared in regional productions of Saturday Night Fever, Lizzie, The Theory of Relativity, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and A Midsummer Night's Dream.
What
So
range with those
she
credits?
can do Shakespeare.
Right.
From Saturday Night Fever to Shakespeare.
Correct. She can do it all, and now she's going to play Janice.
And a ton of your favorite stars are already lining up to be part of this big annual event.
This is a fun one. It's Broadway backwards. So this is the event
Which one is
where
I don't ever remember.
Not miscast.
gender
Yes.
flexible takes on your favorite Broadway show tunes.
You did that very exciting.
That's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah, okay.
And it makes money for BCEFA, which stands for Broadway Cares Like We Fight AIDS, and the LGBT Center. And it's raised more than $4 million since it started in 2006. It's been around for a while. So this year, listen to this. Laura Benanti, Ariana DeBose, big Hollywood star, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Norbert Leo Butz, Len Cariou, Garrett Clayton, Andre DeShields, Shalina Kennedy,
Wow.
Derek Klena, L. Morgan Lee, Patty Murin, who knows today's guest, Ken Page, James Snyder, and Elizabeth Stanley. This is all happening at the New Amsterdam Theater. It didn't originally start as a Broadway event. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember
But
anything.
it's been upgraded. It's a big event
Okay,
now.
there.
March 16th at 8 p.m. And Jen Colella, for the second year in a row, we all love Jen Colella. She's the host. I love this. And Robert Bartley, who's one of the creators, or the creator, will direct and choreograph, and Mary Mitchell Campbell is a music supervisor. It's going to be fantastic, and it's for a good cause. You're going to love it. And if you don't go, you're going to love the videos on YouTube later, so you might as well go see it live.
There you go.
This Emmy-winning star is going to be tickling the ivories in the Windy City.
That's right. So Sean Hayes, who we all know from Will and Grace, is going to play Oscar Levant, who's so famous back in the day in Goodnight Oscar
I don't know anything about it.
at the Goodman Theater.
Tell me
Well,
about
let
it.
me tell you about Oscar Levant. First of all, let me tell you, Lee Silverman's directing, and
Oh.
this will begin January 2021. So you have a
it's
lot
Broadway
of time.
bound. This is Broadway bound.
Hit the books. You can just learn all you can about Oscar
Pre-Broadway,
Levant.
I'm saying it.
It's also written by Tony and Pulitzer Prize winning playwright Doug Wright.
What? Just bring it
Yes.
to Broadway.
In time.
Okay.
So Oscar Levant was a pianist. He was very famous for working with Gershwin. He's in the movie Rhapsody in Blue. He played himself, and he also was in loads of movies. He was in American in Paris. He was in. Okay, all right, but listen, that's what he did.
I'm into it. Okay.
He was in 20 movies.
Oh, okay.
He was on TV too, and he was very funny. He had a lot of turn of
Oh,
phrases.
he was that guy.
He was that guy. He was that guy. As is Sean Hayes, Emmy winner for playing Jack McFarlane on Will and Grace, and earned a Tony nomination. Remember that?
Broadway
for Promises,
debut.
Promises.
And what a Broadway.com Audience Choice Award that year.
That's right. He also played
What do you look?
God
A lot
in
of
an act of
things.
God.
Oh, yeah,
Hello.
God.
Got him.
Duh, the biggest role ever. Anyway, look for that next year.
And this new musical, based on a steamy 90s movie, may lure you across the pond.
So Beth, I don't know if you knew, but they make movies out of musicals.
Well, this is a book.
Musicals out of movies.
What do they make?
They've been through everything at Blockbuster. We have a friend who said just taking a Blockbuster and they pull it off. That's when Blockbuster
Guys,
was around.
Blockbuster was a video store. You had to go there.
Yeah.
Forget it. It was a long time ago.
So anyway, and this is exciting because it starts previews on my birthday, May 29th.
May 29th. I
They're
knew
doing
that.
Indecent Proposal, which is kind of a little known Demi Moore, Woody Harrelson, Robert Redford movie where she was married to Woody Harrelson, and then Robert Redford swept in and he was rich and he said, I'm going to pay to sleep with your wife. That's what it was.
million
right?
Yeah,
dollars.
essentially, yeah.
$1 million, which
Yeah.
now would have been like 5, 10. Anyway.
Inflation. you know.
Inflation.
It's from 1993, and so they're making a musical out of it. Inspired, I guess it started as a novel. Jack Engelhart, who also worked on the movie adaptation, wrote the novel. And let's see, there's some casting. We don't know them because they're Brits.
British.
And we hope to meet them one day. But Norman Bauman, who was fantastic in 42nd Street in London,
don't
he's
remember that.
Johnny. And Jackie Dankworth from Sophisticated Ladies is Annie. More casting to come. Charlotte Westenra, I'm glad a woman is directing this because, come on.
Yeah, it's
You gotta have a
2020.
woman direct
Yes.
Indecent Proposal
Yes.
in
They're
2020.
going to need an intimacy director.
that's-
So
right.
she's directing it, and it starts previous, as I mentioned, May 29th, and you all know that date, and
Where?
opens June 5th. And Dylan Schlossberg and Michael Connolly wrote the score. It's a very complicated plot description here, but it's basically what I
You
said.
gave a good,
Demi
yeah.
Moore
Yeah.
and Woody Harrelson are married. Robert Redford shows up with $1 million and wants.
And you didn't say where it's
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
Where is it playing?
Oh, Southwark Playhouse.
Where you made me see
We
it.
saw The Life there.
And Aspects of Love.
We did, and I missed Grand Hotel there. Anyway,
Yeah.
they do a lot.
They do
with
a
that
lot.
theater, but
It's a small theater.
when is The Life coming back to Broadway? When is Altar Boys coming back? These are
We have so many
all kinds of
questions.
questions to ask today's guest.
That's
He
true.
probably doesn't know about The Life. Oh, also Yas Queen,
Yes, Queen.
which is. Is it funny the way I said it? Abby Mueller's vlog from Six the Musical.
Episode 2.
Episode 2 is out, and our friend Jason Sherwood.
Yes, he is doing the sets. He designed the sets
Fantastic set designer.
for the Oscars, which are on Sunday.
He's done everything except Broadway.
That's
so
right.
we just need him
Oh,
to design a
yeah,
Broadway
okay.
show,
Oh.
but he's so talented, and I'm sure that's happening. But the Oscars is a big deal.
And a lot of theater set designers do the Oscars.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they go
I'm
to the
out.
pros. Okay, thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Kevin is here. And Ryan, will you tell us about our guest, please?
I would love to. Kevin del Aguila can currently be seen as Oaken in Disney's Frozen on Broadway. He's a 2-time Emmy-winning writer of the PBS show Pegging Cat and book writer of the hit off-Broadway musical Altar Boys, of course. He has been part of the original Broadway casts of Peter and the Starcatcher and Rocky and has performed in many off-Broadway shows, including Love's Labor's Lost, Peter and the Starcatcher, A Christmas Carol, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, and many more. He's also written stage adaptations of Diary of a Wimpy Kid in the DreamWorks film Madagascar. And fun fact, Kevin can be heard as a singing troll in Disney's Frozen, the Oscar-winning animated film. You can follow him on Twitter at Kevin del Aguila. And please be sure to leave all of your comments or questions in the comments below. Please welcome Kevin and Beth.
Thank you, Ryan. Welcome. Welcome. Yes,
very
a round
much.
of applause. Welcome.
What an ovation.
I mean, honestly, I think, Ryan, you must be out of breath because you've done so many
Yeah.
different things.
You know, you got to diversify.
Gotta diversify. But now you're Oaken.
Yes.
Still Oaken.
Still open.
With the best sweater on Broadway.
Oh, the greatest sweater.
How's it going over there at Frozen?
It's cold.
It's cold.
But it never bothered me anyway.
Okay, and interview's over. Thank you for watching. You have such a fun role. Let's talk about who is Oaken and does he have any other names? Does he have a last name, first name?
Oaken, no, he's basically known as Wandering Oaken.
Oh, of course. He has a
And,
shop and a sauna. And
Yes,
stuff.
he's a small businessman living in the North Mountain of Arundel. He's the proprietor of Wandering Oaken's Trading Post and Sauna.
Right, of course.
So if you need any gear or maybe just a spritz on your way up the mountain, come to Wandering Oaken's Trading Post and Sauna.
Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, you get to sing the song Huga. Am I saying it right? Huga?
No.
I'm not saying it right. Say it for me.
I don't say it right either.
Say it
That's
wrong
a
for
little-
me.
Hygge.
Oh, see, I'm never going to get that. I'm never gonna-
Hygge.
And what does it mean?
Hygge. Hygge is a Danish word.
But Arundel is not in Denmark.
No,
It's just up there somewhere.
It's like a little Scandinavian kind of thing. Hygge means you can't really translate it to English, so it's like cozy, comfort, all things warm and that make you feel good. A candle, some alcohol by the fire. That's hygge.
How is your dressing room? I'm going to say it wrong. Huga? Do you have Huga in your dressing room?
Yeah, we've got the hygge dressing room. Yes, we've got lots of little candles around. We've got some antlers on the wall, believe it or not. It's very cozy there.
I'm going to
yes.
say they're probably fake antlers,
They're
but I
fake,
could be
yeah.
wrong.
No,
I could be
home
wrong.
goods.
Home goods. Now, of course, you're not just a performer. You're a writer. So take
This
me
is
back.
true.
Were you a writer first, or were you a performer first?
I came to New York to be an actor. I went to school to be an actor, but while I was in school, I would write little short plays, little sketches. I think I was always trying to write like David Mamet or Beckett or something. So I'd write these silly little things, and I moved to New York to act, and there weren't any jobs. So me and my unemployed actor friends would sit around and they'd say, hey, you got this stuff that you've written, let's put some of this stuff up. So we would self-produce some of the things I had written. So while I was acting in things, in regional theaters around the country, I would come back and perform in some of the shows that I had written with my other acting friends. And lo and behold, some of the artistic directors of theaters that I worked at across the country came to see these things and said, Kevin, you write. Why aren't you writing something for us? We'll write something, we'll produce it at our theater. And so little by little, I had these two kind of careers that were sort of moving along, and they've been moving along ever since.
That's wonderful. What was the first thing you got produced?
It was a show called Six Story Building, and it was basically a bunch of one acts that took place in ascending floors of the same New York building. And every floor was kind of a different genre. There was first of all, there was a basement that was the prologue. Then,
You had to climb up.
Exactly. There was like a Waiting for Godot one where it was like a cat and dog waiting for their owner to come home. And there was a musical one at the very end. You got to end with a musical.
Of course.
It was very fun. And I was so surprised that it was met with such acclaim. People loved it at this little theater that we did it at, and the artistic director said, we want to help you bring it to New York. So we came and we did a lot of backers auditions with it and stuff, and things almost happened that didn't happen, then almost happened that didn't happen, and eventually we were like, you know what, we'll put it in the Fringe Festival, and if something happens, great. If not, we're done with this. So we did it in the Fringe Festival. It won their big Fringe Festival award, and this producer saw it and said, I'd like to help you move this. He didn't move it, but he wound up saying, look, I think you have the sensibility for another project I'm working on called Altar Boys.
Thank you.
Woo!
I'm so glad we got to that point because we're all huge Altar Boys fans here at Broadway.com. Tell me how you got involved with that show. They were already working on it, right?
Right.
And then you got involved.
They had a handful of songs about Jesus, funny songs about Jesus, and they had the names of the altar boys: Matthew, Mark, Luke, Juan, and Abraham, the Jewish member of the altar boys.
Obviously.
And that was basically it. They had tried many different takes on how to kind of weave a story around this or figure out how to make these funny songs work. And they were having a rough time. And so this producer brought me in, and I pitched to the creative team, and they said, nope, no good, and they didn't hire me. And a year later, the producer came back and he said, look, we've been through 3 different book writers. We can't get this thing to work. Would you take a look again? And I said, okay, sure. And it was a pretty quick process after that. In like 4 months, we kind of put it together, put some new songs together, really got the engine of the show, and figured out how to make a boy band concert
Right, for
into
people
a
who
piece
don't
of
know what it
theater,
is.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a religious boy band, and the whole conceit is that they come to New York City for their big Raise the Praise tour stop. And so the audience is cast as Altar Boys fans, and they're part of the.
You have to cheer. You have no choice.
You have to cheer, yeah, you have to. And it was thrilling. It was from the beginning. It just I remember being in auditions for it when it was in the first year of the New York Theater
Nymph.
Nymph.
New York Music
Theater
Musicals
Festival.
Right.
The first year of that. And when we were in auditions for it, I remember Chris Catelli was our choreographer, and he was putting them through their paces, and I just thought, oh my gosh, when this all comes together, it's going to be so exciting. And there's no greater feeling than to write something and watch, all of the different elements come together, and you find yourselves being fans of this boy band that's in front of you. It was absolutely thrilling, and we were just so proud of it.
And it ran for a long time.
It ran for 5 years off Broadway, which was like
Kind of unheard of at the time.
unheard of at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was thrilling. And I was no longer the guy that just wrote stuff. I was the guy who wrote Altar Boys,
That's
which
right.
was a huge upgrade to my career up to
But
that
you
point.
still went on. You did Peter and the Starcatcher, which was Smee. I'm saying next to Smee. You had a yeah. Given the look, so you continued as a performer just on these 2 tracks the whole
Well,
time.
it's funny you mention
Oh,
that
yes,
because
go on.
I, as my writing career started to take off, I kind of found myself not enjoying performing anymore. I would get cast in something, regionally, and I'd leave town, and I'd think, well, I'd rather be in town. What I'm being asked to do is not that fulfilling. I'm not enjoying. I remember being on stage once and thinking, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying performing. I'm not enjoying it. So I unofficially quit performing.
No announcement, just stop.
No announcement. I just thought, I'm not going to pursue this anymore. If something comes along, great. But a little guy named Alex Timbers, director you may have heard of, I auditioned for him when he first came to the city and started his theater company downtown. And I just made him laugh. Like, he would just have me read side after side after side and just giggle, giggle, giggle. And he'd cast me in things that I either wasn't able to be in or little workshops here and there. But as his star rose, he just kept calling me in. So when I had quit performing, nobody told him because he kept calling me in for these things. And I was in like a workshop of Blood Andrew Jackson and like just other things that he did that were really interesting and fun. And one of the things he called me in for was this prequel to Peter Pan that him and Roger Rees were directing. And I thought, well, I can't say no to this. I've got to at least, audition for this. And it was amazing. I got into that production downtown at the New York Theater Workshop.
Yes. There are a lot of things to remember here. It's okay.
Yes. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It totally rejuvenated that company of actors.
It's a wonderful company.
That creative team. Everything about it was just incredible. And the fact that I was invited into this circle of those people was just, it really rejuvenated my love of performing. And to have a front row seat to watch Christian Borle on stage every
As
night
Black Sash.
was a highlight of my career on the stage. It was really, really, the whole experience was great.
Now, you go way back with the Lopez's, too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
To bring it back to Frozen, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me how you got introduced to them.
I met Bobby Lopez long ago when he was writing children's shows for TheaterWorks USA,
Which you've done as well.
which I've also written and performed and directed for. And he would write, he wrote this show with Jeff Marks, that they both wrote this show. And in his 5-minute breaks, 10-minute breaks, he would play us little funny songs from this puppet musical he was working on. And I'd say, man, that's funny. You got to submit that to the Fringe Festival.
That's a great idea.
And the Tony Award goes to Avenue Q. And I was like, well,
I was right.
I got to dream bigger, is what I thought.
I mean, you won the Fringe Festival. Who knows what could happen?
He could have won that award as well. But anyway, so I met him long ago then. And again, he would call me in for things here and there. I was in little workshops of a show he wrote with Kristen as well. And
Is that how you got to be a troll in the Frozen movie?
He called me and said, "Hey, Kevin, we're recording these songs. Come over and we'd love you to record." And I thought it was a demo. I swear, I thought we were recording a demo of just songs for this movie that they were working on. And I showed up and they had me sign all these papers. And I was like, "Wait a minute, what are we doing here?" And they're like, "This is it. You're gonna be in the movie." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, oh, okay." And yeah, so I was a voice.
I don't think you just
of a
stumble into
troll.
these things.
Yeah, this is how it happens. I just randomly wind up in these places. I'm the Forrest Gump of New York City. Yeah, so I was the voice of a troll. I'm the. I had one solo line, which was, "Or that he's socially impaired."
That's a very important line.
I'm the socially impaired troll.
No.
Put that at the top of your resume. Yeah. And then, so you were in the Frozen family.
Yeah, so I go way back with Frozen, and yeah, so when I came in to be a part of the production of Frozen, yeah, then it was very exciting because
Were you like, I want to be the sauna guy? That's the part I want?
well, yeah, when I was originally in, I'm one of the few people left. Me and Patty Murin are the last ones who have been in it since the very first reading, and when she leaves, I will be the last one standing.
Soon.
But I was originally not just Oaken. I was other roles, and I was always wondering, why aren't you giving me my line from the movie? You're giving it to that guy or that guy. That's me. But they never did, which was fine. So
You're in recovery from that.
I'm in recovery from
Yeah,
that.
I understand.
Right.
Well, listen,
Socially impaired.
I know you have questions, so let's take a few. Ryan?
Yes, absolutely. Kyle would like to know, not this Kyle, but a different Kyle would like to know, you've produced many projects for kids and young people. What do you find so fulfilling about that?
Good question.
It's very interesting because, and I've said this a lot, but I've written a lot of television shows for kids. I'm the writer of I'm a writer of the new Blue's Clues that's on TV now, and I wrote some of this Clifford the Big Red Dog reboot that's out there now. So I've written a lot of children's TV. I've written a lot of children's theater, and it's very interesting because the thing that I find most fulfilling is when people don't treat it like kids' entertainment, and they just try to make a good show. They try to make, yes, it has to be tailored to a family. You can't, curse, but it has to be tailored to a family kind of audience. But when they really just focus on, let's make a good show, and they'll watch. I found that
Not talking down to them.
Yeah, don't talk down to them. Everybody says they don't talk down to kids,
But
and
they
then
all
they
do.
proceed to say, you can't say that. Kids don't know that word. And you're like, well, when will they learn it if they don't hear it? So I find that, when it's best, it's when it's not talking down to kids. It's really just trying to make a good show. There's a series of books called Dog Man, which are written by the Captain Underpants author, Dave Pilkey.
Oh, we have them in my home, yes.
You do? Well,
Not for me, my children.
myself and a composer named Brad Alexander wrote Dog Man the Musical, which was off Broadway last year. And hopefully we'll be coming back again this year off Broadway. And it was great because it certainly didn't talk down to kids. And as you know, as a dog man...
I don't read them.
You don't read
They're
them.
in my home. Yeah.
But I didn't know them either. And my son would be in the corner giggling with this book. And I would say, what the hell is that? And then I got a commission to write Dog Man the Musical. I'm like, give me that book. What are you giggling at over there? And they're legitimately funny. it's like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. They're really funny. They're just edgy enough for kids that they're like, I probably shouldn't be reading this. Like the teacher probably would rather I read something else, but I'm reading Dog Man. But it's great because it gives them ownership of it, and it's exciting for them, and it's really fun to write.
I love that.
Did I answer that question at all?
Yeah,
totally
they seem
did.
satisfied. Yeah. Jason would like to know, when can we expect a new production of Altar Boys or an Altar Boys movie or TV show?
We are waiting.
Jason, I wish I knew, Jason. If you got any leads, let me know, Jason. I don't know. I really don't know. I would love to see it again. Like I said.
Well, there's clearly an audience out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or in here.
Well, do you remember it won the 2009 Broadway.com Audience Choice Award for a favorite long-running off-Broadway show?
When we
So
had that
we
category.
knew.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, people still love boy bands, and they're still out there, and you know, every now and then, like a track will come on my headphones when I'm listening, and I'll think, yes, someday maybe we'll hear it again on the stage. So I don't know, but I hope
We're all
soon.
hoping. Yeah, absolutely. And I think we have time for another question. What Faye would like to know, what's a favorite role or show that you've done, and what show or role would you most like to revisit?
Ooh.
I mean, Smee in Peter and the Starcatcher was definitely a favorite. And I mean, I would love to, I don't know if I'd love to revisit it because it was a lot of work. We were running around sweating so much in that show. But a nice little reunion concert or, reading would be delightful.
And so what's the dream role that you haven't done yet?
The dream role I haven't done yet. Gosh, I don't know.
Watch
don't
out,
know.
Elsa. He doesn't know. You never know.
Right. Let it go. I would like to play the Robert Redford character in
Indecent Proposal.
Indecent Proposal, the musical.
There we go.
That's a good
I want to
idea.
sleep with your wife. I got money to sleep with.
Yeah.
I could see you doing that.
Speaking of Smee, Tripp would like to know if you gave Christian any Smee advice before he played the role in Peter Pan Live.
Yes,
You
tell
know,
us.
I didn't. I couldn't. I mean, please. But he did give me a wonderful little tribute, which I think some people know. They let him design his tattoos on his body, and one of them was a picture of me as Smee, and underneath it said, "Mother." So no advice, but he gave me a wonderful.
That's adorable.
You would have to pay it back. Yeah, there you go. Guys, go see Frozen at the St. James Theater. The sauna door is open.
It's always open.
It's always open. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for
Kevin.
having me.
Ryan, will you take us on out? Please?
Of course. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are, of course, live every single day here on Facebook, and you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts just by searching for #Live at5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we talk to Myra Lucretia Taylor of Tina, the Tina Turner musical.